I'll call this meeting of the Grafton Cable Television Oversight Committee meeting for January 29th, 2024 to order. Our before we get to the agenda, want to welcome our newly appointed member, Carl Parisi. Could you tell us a little about yourself?
Certainly. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. So I retired this year at 73. I finally called it quits after a fantastic travel, or how can I say, work travel lifetime. So I started my new life now, if you will. I love it. I have a undergraduate and graduate from Northeastern University, and decided to give some of my time, give back to the community. So,
what was the degree in?
I major in leadership and supply chain.
Oh, I don't remember when I went to Northeastern.
Now they're majoring. Actually, nursing is big now. Actually, Northeastern. So they changed a lot of the programs.
Good.
At the tune of about 90,000 a year for nursing. One of my nephew's daughter applied for it. I says, "Oh my God."
Okay, good. Well, on to the agenda. Let's see. As always, the first item is public input. Anyone who has something to talk to us about that's within our purview and not on the agenda otherwise, this is the time to speak up. Maybe raise hand if you were there and not. I don't think we have anyone who needs to. Apparently not. All right. Minutes. Corson, you distributed a set of minutes.
Yes, hopefully everybody got them along with my other notations.
I distributed what I got, I think. I was a little confused because I got a bunch of notices, like 4 of them, about minutes from the town, from the system that sends stuff out from the town. And when the links in them took me to the agenda center, not anything to do with minutes. So I was a tiny bit confused about that. Did you submit some?
I did, because the thing was is that they weren't posting them. I actually tried to send it earlier, and I ended up with errors. I got a response back that had all kinds of errors when I tried to send it. So I managed to get through, and I finally got someone from the town that acknowledged that they were received and posted. So that part of it was done. But the one which I had for this meeting, that I sent yesterday. It was also including, this was directed to Bob Berger, Michael, you. It has the minutes. It also talks about the monolith desk, along with some pictures and other things that I sent. Did anybody get that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you got the minutes then?
Correct.
I did.
Everybody's seen the minutes for whatever. What was the date?
December 18th, I believe, right?
December which?
18th.
18th.
Yeah, meeting on Monday, December the 18th.
All right. Does anybody have any comments on it? If not, do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Bob Berger.
Aye.
Carl Parisi.
Aye.
Michael Molesky.
Aye.
Corson.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Now, time for Fiona, who I see lurking. This is the following up on, there she is, hi. Grafton Wi-Fi in Parks project, aren't you?
Yes, so thanks, Bob, and thanks committee for having me this evening. I just wanted to report out the status of this project, answer any questions that you might have, and talk about some next steps. So I believe, so Bob Hassinger has been involved with this project because, since kind of the beginning. So for folks who may not know, the public Wi-Fi hotspots project in the public parks was a recommendation in our 2021 local rapid recovery plan that was generated to revitalize Grafton post-COVID. So what we did was we worked with Comtract, which is the company that the town typically works with in terms of the FMAN network and that infrastructure, to see what our options were. And after going back and forth with them for a little bit, we were able to get a final a scope of work that covers installation of the hotspots, access points, and associated work based on the FMAN network as it exists today at the Mill Villages Park, the Common, and Whitney Park, also known as Mill Street Park and Perry Hill Park. And the quote that we received was for $52,370.19. So the goal is, with using ARPA funds as well as some assistance from the Cable Advisory Committee, we're hoping to be able to implement this scope of work. We aren't there yet. We still need to do some coordination with CMD, who handles the software side of things in town, and set up a meeting with them to kind of get CMD and Comtract together to kind of work through things. And also we kind of want to go back, double check some things regarding pricing and whatnot. And just another something that I should mention is that there is a municipal fiber grant that's coming up soon that I will be applying for in March to hopefully offset any costs, or as much as we can. So, I don't know, Bob, how much more in depth I should go. I think I'm the cable. I know Bob. I've also been working with, obviously Mr. Berger works in the town with me, so I see him pretty frequently, and have been kind of getting his feedback about some of the specificities with this project. But I wanted to just kind of take the opportunity to let you know kind of where we're at, and answer any questions. And I'm hoping to have a better update for this group once we connect CMD and Comtract and work through maybe some of those potential issues, or hopefully non-issues, with this software and hardware interfacing. So yeah, I think with that, I mean, I have the scope of work and can pull it up if the committee is interested in that. Okay.
We probably don't need to get too deep in that.
Okay.
Yeah. Bob Berger.
So through you, Mr. Chair, in our budget for last year, we put in $150,000 for equipment upgrade. And because we have run the FMAN, I think this is a good opportunity to continue with that philosophy of trying to enhance what the town already has. So how much is Fiona looking for? And can we do something with not to exceed? Because I don't think she's ready right now, but I'm hearing she wants a commitment from us, which I do not have a problem with.
Do you need a commitment at this point, Fiona, or
I think that it's kind of challenging to say. I think I would like to just get consensus from the group about how you feel about this. I mean, we have economic development is contributing 26,000 to this. So yeah, roughly half. So, and we're hoping that with the grant, we can significantly reduce, you know, the extra ask that we need. But I think, yeah, I think probably the most, what I would like to get an understanding of is where other folks on the committee, what their thoughts, and, you know, talk through concerns. I think this is the first time I'm meeting a couple of folks, so I don't want to come in too strong with a big ask without getting an idea of your thoughts. So
Again, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if Fiona, if you needed $26,000, I would make a motion for the $26,000 for the Wi-Fi capability in the parks. But it sounds to me like you're not there yet because you think there's other monies coming in.
I mean, well, the grant is competitive and there's no guarantee, but we're going to try our hardest. I mean, obviously a vote, an affirmative would be nice. But you know, it's up to the committee, and how, you know, what your thoughts and how you like to
So-
proceed.
So
I'm thinking about, so we want to commit to the worst case scenario in the hopes of, you know, we do better.
first of all, does everybody, maybe not Carl, I'm not sure about Michael. She said F-man. I know some of you know what that is, but is anybody not up to speed on it?
I'm not.
Hmm?
I'm not.
Okay. That's the fiber municipal access network, I guess.
Yeah.
Back when we were negotiating one of the earlier cable contracts, we got money to basically build a municipal fiber network. I've forgotten it. You know, it's several $100,000.
$500,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was very involved in that. And since then, I think we've helped with a couple of additions to it also. The great thing about that was that even if we hadn't had the money coming in from the cable companies, it was going to save the town enough to pay for itself in something like 3 years, because the town was doing like separate connections to the internet from all sorts of different places and so on, and didn't have really good connectivity. Now we have a first-class fiber network to all of the municipal facilities. And I'm on 3 different committees and boards, all 3 of which have touch with this project. It came to me via the planning board. I told her that I thought there was a chance we might be able to help here, and we're looking at it over in the IT committee too, to look at some of the technical part.
So, Mr. Chairman,
I think, no, Carl, go ahead.
is this like an upgrade, or is this a new program, or?
No,
Oh, this is the network's like a store. I don't know. You know, the fibers go out from the municipal center.
Yep, yep.
And the high school complex out to the different parts of the town. And they go to I don't know, 20, maybe 50, 20 places. This is to make additional connections through that network to run public Wi-Fi hotspots.
Okay, so that's
and
what
3 of
Fiona
them-
was just mentioning, right? So it's to support additional sites.
Support additional sites.
Okay, I got it.
Will be running some fiber, whatever laterals, whatever they are, off of the backbone into the different locations, Whitney Park, the Common, and Mill Villages Park. And I think that some of the money is also then buying the hardware that's out there that, talks to the people.
I
Okay,
understand. I understand it now. Yeah, thank you.
of course,
I was going to add my sense to it. The thing is that the town, for the most part, was always dependent, of course, on the taxpayers for the revenue, and they're very concerned about where they spend money here and there, and they just don't have an extra dime anywhere because of all the budgets that are in place. And so the idea of having any kind of fiber optic network or anything else that never came into focus at all with the town. We kind of stumbled into it only because the fact is that we had Charter, which was the original cable company,
All right.
had put in some drops for us at different places in town. And those drops were antiquated. They were getting very old. A lot of them weren't working very well. And it got to a point where Verizon was starting to come into the picture and other things. And we said, well, we're going to have more drops. We need more places to put this. And they really weren't that good at putting in those types of things for us for our cable needs. So when we had the ideas, well, we've got the funds. Let's put in a fiber optic network, and it's something that we're doing for the benefit of the cable subscribers to put in this network, although it has overwhelmingly needs of all the other places within the town as well. Fire, police, everything. So it had a tremendous impact on all of the other aspects of the operation of the town. So when we proposed putting it in, we made sure that it had more than enough capacity of handling anything and everything else that the town wanted with it as well, which meant they kind of had to make some adjustments, get new phone equipment and other things. But they basically accepted this and said, this is wonderful. It's great. And as it were, we've kind of still been kind of on the hand side of this network because we're the ones that kind of started it. Although it's basically a shared piece of hardware for the town.
yeah.
So what is this 150,000 came from? Is that a budgetary that you?
I'm gonna explain that in a minute.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, the prior system that Carl Corson's talking about, that was just paths back to the head end from a few locations like the conference room and the municipal center to be able to send a signal up and out through the cable system, broadcast a meeting.
Yep.
That's all it could do. I got this put together so that we had fiber to do that on at many more locations, which is just infinitely better than what we were getting on
Oh, yeah. No,
the coax.
Fiber's the way to go.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, you can run all the other stuff, data and whatnot over it too. Just
Exactly.
well, as long as we can. So anyway, that worked out. Now the money that we deal with is the money that the cable companies pay the town each year, and also in grants at periodically, more as part of the licensing of them.
Yep.
And that money is restricted to cable uses only. So that's why we look at this in that context. We say this is cable related. Cable's built the network. Cable wants to continue with that, and I think that's a sufficient justification. I guess the question for Fiona maybe now is, I think Bob already said that he's in favor. Corson, would you be in favor
Yes.
when we get a
Sure.
definite ask? Michael?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And
I
Carl,
would be in favor as well, yes.
is that gonna take care of you, Fiona?
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Thank you all so much. I think this is going to be a really excellent project. I wish I was able to relay CMD's feedback at this time, but hopefully at the next meeting, which I just heard back from the TA's office. We have to coordinate through them to set up this meeting. I heard back from them late last week, so hopefully we'll get a meeting in the books this week or early next week, and then I'll be able to come back with feedback. I mean, Comtrack has not relayed any issues at all. I mean, and there's nothing that is of concern. I mean, we're very fortunate to have the FMAN network, and we're very lucky in that implementation of a project like this is pretty seamless, considering how we're able to tie into FMAN and the infrastructure that exists. So with that being said, I think I'm good for tonight. So I'll come back with I guess maybe like a more formalized ask next time. But in the meantime, if folks on the committee would like to see the breakdown of the costs and the scope of work or whatever, happy to share whatever you need. But I think this is all I need for this evening, and we'll go from there. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time and consideration.
Is there a deadline on the grant? A date?
Yeah, so the grant, the application period, let me pull up my calendar. So the application period opens on, oh geez. Where is it? Okay, so it's open from March 11th through April 12th. So we have about a month to get everything together, which I'm assuming we're probably going to need that full month, because typically these grants have a lot of different moving parts. So, and I'm thinking that we probably will be able to hear by summer at that's usually how it goes. I haven't looked at the grant requirements in a while, but I can do that and follow up with Bob or however you want to do that. Sorry, I don't have it right in front of me at the moment. I should, but I don't.
Yeah, you probably, Bob can probably guide you on what to, when you get to an ask that we can vote.
Yeah. Right now it's, if we weren't considering the grant, which I think being conservative, because obviously the grant, a lot of people, or a lot of communities rather, will be going after it. The ask would be $26,370.19.
Yeah, I think
Right. Yeah.
we'll see about that, but there's a question about whose hardware out at the ends they actually want to our town's IT people would prefer, and if it's not the one that Comtrack can provide, then there'll be two different purchases, I think. So, but also maybe you don't want to have the money already committed when you're submitting your request for money to somebody else.
Right. I mean, there's probably usually, I haven't applied for this particular grant before, but usually they're asking for at least a 25% match and the ability, to do that. But yes, I agree with you, Bob.
Yeah. But I'm saying, if you say, I already have the money, but I want you to give it to me instead.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
Well, when we have more, Bob will pass on to me what we need to do, and I guess I'll tentatively plan on having it back at our next meeting, whenever that ends up being.
Yeah.
It may be
Already determined.
maybe March 1st.
Okay, awesome. I will plan for that. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate it. And if you need anything or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay. Moving on. Annual report.
Hold on. You skipped over the cable TV charge.
Oh. Wait a minute. Yeah, I remember that we were having interaction about the opportunity to adjust our membership and so on. And the select board wanted to have a more formal charge. I guess they have more of a process than they used to. I was I was zooming to their meeting when they took this up. And eventually they put in the charge exactly like it's been for any number of years. And they did adjust the membership down from 7 to 5 so that we could have a better chance of getting quorums. We were having a little trouble with 4 members on a 7-member committee. Everybody had to show up to be able to do anything. So those bases are covered. Okay, any questions? Apparently not. Annual report. Corson, were you working on that?
I have been. I've got it down to about 5 pages. It's one of those things where I have never created one. I've done what I can. I'll forward you what I have during this meeting so you can see what I've got. If you give me any guidance on it, I'd appreciate it.
Well, the thing is that that's supposed to be submitted very soon, like the end of the month.
Well, it's close, but yes, you were saying?
No,
I've never done one, so this is.
I know.
I didn't do one last year.
But did you look at an example?
I did. Yes,
But
and,
the example wasn't 5 pages long, was it?
no, it wasn't. It's well, again, I'll forward it to you as well, Mr. Berger, so you can see what I've got so far with the information. But
You have it on a spreadsheet or that?
no, it's a Word document.
Okay.
The
It's just-
at town
excuse me.
meeting time, the town puts out a town report about that thick, with all sorts of stuff in it, including reports from all the
All the
board
committees,
and
yeah.
whatnot, and it's something you're supposed to do.
Oh, it's
and
due
it
at the
helps.
end of the month?
Hmm?
At the end of February? When is it due? At the end of February?
At the end of January.
End of January?
Yeah.
Right.
Would anyone object if Corson and Bob Berger worked together and went ahead and submitted it if it has to be in before our next meeting?
Oh, I definitely.
Does
In
anybody?
other words, between the two of us, if we work on it and we come up with it as a final product, would there be an objection to it being submitted without further review?
If you need some help, I'd be more than happy to.
Well, then Corson, why don't you work with our new member, Carl?
Oh, Carl doesn't know.
Well, I've done ledgers at my senior positions at work, so.
Yeah. But
Well, this is no
Around it.
ledger.
No, I understand. It's
this is,
it's a report that goes on the book for the town meeting
Yeah.
also.
but yeah, this is, we did all this and that and these wonderful things and so happened and blah, blah, blah.
Right. So it's an excerpt of all of that, all that's happened in 2023, right? So you got a report on it.
And just hopefully the people out there are happy with what we have to say. If anybody needs that path to find out what we're up to.
That's fine. I'll work with Corson.
Okay. Everybody is okay with that?
Like I say, if you need help, I'll be more than happy.
I'll
Robert,
take you up on that.
good. He's
Okay,
gonna
I
have
just sent the email
some- Okay,
to 3. I'm going to, of course, if you'd be so inclined to provide me an email, Carl, so that I've got yours.
if you look on the
You-
messages I've sent out to you, We'll see his address
Oh.
on them.
Okay.
CAMAPA3 @yahoo.com. And I've got an email from you as well yesterday, so.
Did you?
Oh.
Oh,
No, from Mike.
Sure, I didn't forward it.
Oh, that's probably what it is, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got that under control. All right. Modular studio broadcast desk. This was an ask from Bob DeToma, who is the person in charge of the studio and all. We wanted to see if there was anything that might be better. Where we might be willing to spend more money to have a better look. The idea is a desk of some sort that people can sit around to in panel discussion shows.
I've seen it on the email. Those are quite sharp, the ones that I see.
I think we need to work with Bob, though, who isn't here tonight. I think he pretty much wants what he asked for, but we ought to have some dialogue with him before we settle that, don't you think?
Mr. Chair?
Bob?
You're correct. I suggest that Corson's our clerk. I suggest Corson give Mr. DeTomer a email inviting him to our next committee meeting, because we're not thrilled about the choice that he made, and we'd like him to present to us some classier broadcast equipment.
Mr. Berger, did you see what I sent? Did you
I
look at the
did, but
Okay.
Mr. DeToma is the manager of
True.
the facility, and we are the cable oversight committee. So it's almost like the planning board and the town planner, or the selectman and the town administrator. I don't think we should be picking these things out. Maybe it's going to come out that is what is going to come out, but we really should direct Mr. DeTomer on, we'd like to have you present something a little bit nicer, because we have this amount of money to spend, and I think the production could be better with higher class equipment. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, I just think that we should have Bob talk with us, and he can tell us why he thinks what he's got is the right thing, and we can see if we can convince him that something else might be good, or maybe we'll agree with it.
Yep.
But we need to talk with him to do that.
And I think the avenue is our clerk. Give him a quick email. And
I can do
invite
that.
him to the next email. To the next meeting.
And I'm not sure whether, of course, your stuff got to him through any of the channels.
I didn't pass it on to him specifically,
But
but I will be sure to do so.
okay, good. Okay. Everybody happy with that one?
Yep.
Grafton Building Department is producing a PSA to include ASL interpreter. Cable Oversight Committee authorized the expended. This is asking, I think, for the.
I am asking. Whoever put the agenda together screwed up.
Oh, yeah. Cut and paste, Bob.
Okay.
Authorize the expenditure not to exceed $500 for the cost of the ASL interpreter.
Right. So the building department, and Kyle, so my other hat is I'm the building commissioner in town.
I know, Bob.
We're producing a PSA on when and why you need a building permit, and what happens if you discover that you have a project that didn't have a permit. How do you get through that issue? So Metro West Building Officials, which I'm part of that organization, is putting an interview together. The president's going to interview me. We're going to do it in the Grafton studio. And I want the Cable Oversight Committee to authorize not to exceed $500 so we can get an interpreter in there. And what we're going to do is just like town meeting is on post-production, we're going to take the interpreter and cut them in on the right-hand side of the screen. Metro West Building Officials is going to be expending some money for other things like cue cards and whatever it takes to put the production together. So it's not like I'm asking for the Cable Oversight to pay for everything. I'm just trying to get an interpreter into this production.
You have a cost for that, Bob, or
Well,
just,
it says, well, it's $95 an hour.
Okay.
And I'm figuring it's only going to be 3 hours from start to finish, but I wanted to put a buffer in there.
okay, got it,
His ask is not to exceed.
gotcha. Okay,
Any questions?
If they're doing that in the studio, they could capture the interpreter in a box while they're shooting.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a 3-camera shoot.
Yeah.
One on me.
You were
one
talking
on-
about putting in it afterwards, but this is the opportunity to use the switcher.
Well, it's just going to be like town meeting.
Well,
Town
but
meeting, we have a camera just on the interpreter.
right,
And then they post it in.
no, but they don't have to post it in. The switcher can do things like that. It can take that camera and put it over
Yeah.
here.
Well, maybe that is going to happen. I'm just IT. I push the equipment from here to there.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion? Oh, you're supposed to say that, Bob.
I have, yes, I'm supposed, forget him. He didn't, no. Does anyone want to make a motion on this ask?
I motion,
That's a
So moved.
moved,
that's approved,
not to exceed.
not to exceed $500.
I second it.
Did Carl,
Carl seconded.
any discussion? Hearing none. Robert,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye,
Corson,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Next, conference room F.
Conference, again, Bob Berger. We awarded the contract for, I think it was $500 less than what we thought it was going to cost. So we had like 3 prices. One was $50,000 above everything. And Kyle, just so you know, we're redoing conference room F to match what conference room A looks like. That's our meeting room, and we're going to make them interactive. So if conference room F or A get overloaded, they can be the same room, just like we do in town meeting we have an overflow in cafeteria. I don't know when it's going to start. We haven't had the kickoff meeting, and it hasn't gone in front of the select board yet, but William is all set with awarding the contract, and Joe Patton is putting the documents together. So we're there.
And how much money are we talking
$70,000
from the cable fund?
from the cable fund. That was a town meeting warrant. So it's not out of our operating budget.
Okay. How does everybody feel? I think we've sort of, I think we already said we were okay with this.
Yeah, this was just informational.
So you don't need a motion.
No, because we already voted on it a year ago.
Enough, and we voted enough money.
Oh, absolutely.
I think large contracts like this, and even the Wi-Fi, maybe go through more than just us.
William's gonna get the contract together and he's gonna present it to the select board for their signature. We just advise the select board on these big ticket items.
But we already have, I guess,
That's correct.
on this one.
That's correct.
Okay. studio conference room.
So last time I had a Metro West meeting in the conference room, there is no plug underneath that table. So we are contracting out, and this is part of our studio upgrade. Excuse me, our equipment upgrade of that $150,000. We're putting in 110 plug and internet underneath the table. So when we have a conference there, we don't have to have extension cords running around the room. It's a trip hazard. So that's now we have the equipment. I have Paige contacting Bob DeTolma to make arrangements to saw cut the floor, and then that work's gonna start. I'll keep you guys informed once we get to a point where you can go in and take a look at it.
You don't need a vote on that? We already,
It's in our budget for the $150,000 studio equipment upgrade. So it's part of it.
yeah, well, have we voted this one? Just like the last,
I don't know. I would have to go back to the other meetings. I can't remember if we voted a price on this one or not.
maybe we should. Do you have a number?
I think it's gonna be about $15,000 from start to finish.
Would not to exceed 15?
We can do that.
This, new guys, the studio has a conference room, modest, not a big one, but a nice one, where meetings are. But Bob, who is it that has it's the veterans something or other that meets?
The veterans have their meeting there. I've used the room before for Metro West. I think there have been other committees in there. And when we built the studio in Kyle, I don't know, 6 years ago, we renovated that. Used to be the old police station, and the Cable Oversight Committee threw $1.4 million into the building to convert it from a police station back into the studio that we're using right now.
So you need a motion for this, or
Yeah. Be good.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the studio conference room at a cost not to exceed 15,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Robert,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Corson,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Bills, do we have bills?
No, if we don't have Mr. DeTolma, then we don't have bills. So, Mr. Chair, I would also suggest, because in the charge that we just got approved through the select board, I think the bills need to come back here for us to look at. So
We
I,
should know what's happening.
because we're kind of blind right now, I would suggest, because Corson is also giving an email to Bob DeTolma to come in and we can talk about the furniture. Maybe put a blurb in there that we'd really need to see the bills so we can keep an eye on the budget. I think it makes sense, but if you want to have further discussion.
Anybody object? Good idea. Corson doesn't object, so that's okay. Treasurer's report.
It's me. Give me a minute. Tell me when everybody can see my screen.
See it?
Okay. So I'm just going to go through this a little bit here. On the top is where we receive our money. Kyle and Michael, this $1.1 million is what we carried over last year. The software doesn't do that for us because it looks at it at a fiscal year. So this is a number that you're going to keep on seeing because that only moves year to year. So as to date, we have got revenue $196,000 and $911.96. So we have and I'm not going to say all the numbers, $1.3 million. We expended so far $113,000. Our available funds right now are 1.1, almost $1.2 million. I don't trust that number completely right now. I will trust it more next month, and I'll show you why. So in here is just a summary of our 5 or 6 accounts. Here's your salaries, here's your services, here's your energy, here's our supplies, and here's our equipment upgrades. So this is what was allocated for each of those amounts. I mean, each of those accounts. This is what we've expended. This is what we have left in that bucket. And here is what we expended so far year to date. A big number is this one right here for percentages. We're now half the year is up. So we'd never want to see this more than 50%. So everything looks like we're in line and we're really in good shape. When I talked about the studio 1.4, this is our last payment that we have to make because we took a bond out for 5 years because I wanted it to match the commitment we got for Verizon, just a hedge, just in case the world dropped and everybody cut their cord. I wanted the cable studio paid for before all the money went away, but that's not happening. That's just me thinking of gloom. Now, what you haven't seen before that I threw into this report is that $3,000 general fund that the town expends. And what I think happened here is it appears items paid out of this account should have been posted to the 29 account. The 29 account is the $1.1 million account. And there's a journal entry correcting that posting. I couldn't find that journal entry yet, but at the end of the report, you can see that we have $2,800 back in this account, and we got credited $11,000 out of this account. But what I can't find is where it came from, or where they took it from in here. So I'm gonna have to ask Mary, where did she dump that money back? I don't know. So we'll deal with that later.
The for some of our newer people, the cable fund, which is the big chunk of money there that comes from the cable companies.
That's the 5%
It,
of everybody's bill.
yeah, it is that rolls on. Unlike money that's voted at town meeting, the $3,000 is money that we've asked from town meeting back since about the second or third year that we've had cable, so that we had some money to work with. Back in the early days, I think the first year we had $900, and it worked up to where we're around 3,000 now that we asked town meeting for. But that is in town budgets that end at the end of June, and anything that hasn't been expended ends up in free cash, and we lose it. So we try to be sure that we do use the 3,000 for things that are appropriate.
So Carl and Michael, every year we get that 5%, and it averages about $360,000 to $400,000 of what we get from the cable companies to help us operate the studio. And of course, we don't spend all that money, and that's why we keep on having a balance forward of coming over. So cable is in good shape because right now we have $1.1 million. All right, let me continue, and then you can ask more questions if you wish. It's now I'm just going over, here's the last amount we just got for a quarter. $25,000, which you saw that up above. And then here's a detail of everything that we have expended for cleaning, for attorneys. And this comes out of, oh, I can't tell where it comes out of. It's in the summary. And I think that's it. I'll shut my screen down and answer any questions anybody has.
Questions? Carl?
I'd like to also point out that there's more than the 5%. There's also $75,000 that is paid out over the course of 3 years. It's a capital payments
Grant, right,
grant that we get as well.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Any-
my report to the committee.
Hmm?
That's my report to the committee.
Any questions?
That,
All
that
right.
75,000 grant is not shown here though, right?
The,
Is that-
no, well, that's back in, I think we've gotten all of the 75,000.
In the new license, we'll get 75,000 again.
Additional, yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see. how
When
that-
does the license run out?
We have
Um,
one, they go 10 years and 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start negotiating 2 years before they start expiring.
I think, didn't we just have the
We did
signing of a new license with
Right.
Verizon.
Verizon,
Verizon's good for
5 years, 5 years.
Yep.
So we'll see. I don't remember. It's probably like, Corson says, something like the 75,000 is broken up into annual or payment, separate payments through, more than 1 year.
Yeah, it's 3 capital payments in the first 3 years.
Right. So those will be coming in next
So,
summer.
so the contract, what is it, 10 years with an option for another
No
5
option,
or-
no
No,
option.
it's just
It's
5.
So it's straight either 10 or
Spectrum.
5.
Spectrum, 10 years.
Okay.
Th-
gotcha.
Then
And
2 years,
Verizon-
8 years into that, we start negotiating with their attorney. But we've got such great language in our contracts that we really, there's nothing to negotiate now because Mr. H negotiated and the verbiage keeps on coming through. We have a great deal. We get 5%, and because we throw so much money into our infrastructure, when we ask them for these upgrade monies, they really never bark at us.
Yeah, okay. Anything
So
else?
who's gonna be doing, if I may, Mr. Chairman? So going back to the fiber add-on, if you will, so Charter's gonna do that?
No, no,
Okay.
Comtract, the
Comcast is
people who
gonna do,
build the network,
okay, gotcha.
they're, they specialize in building fiber
Yeah,
network.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I worked a lot with them. I think, with Fiona now talking to them, I think he goes, "Ugh," he sees me and they. It was really a challenge, maybe not during a meeting, but we've got it done. Okay, now we should be reviewing the budget that's been submitted to the town administrator. We want to be sure that it meets with what we hope to do. I don't have a copy of the budget. It hasn't been provided to me. I don't think that our treasurer was able to get one. So we can't review the budget.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
think that's just another add-on to Mr. Corson's email asking Mr. DeTomer to join us at our next meeting and discuss these 3 items. Furniture, bills, next year's budget.
okay, Carson? Yes. All right.
Yes.
Access activity report. Bob DeToma did send a written report, which I forwarded. Did everybody get it?
I did.
Okay. You're informed. If you have any questions or input on it, it would be good if Bob were with us to talk about it. Traditionally, the person running the studio has always joined our meetings, but Bob is not at the moment. Any questions or anything like that on this? Apparently not. Alrighty. Next meeting, I think that it be given that I have 2 Mondays a month committed to the planning board, we've tried to meet the 3rd Monday in between. Mine are the 2nd and 4th. But all the holidays keep falling on the 3rd Monday of the month. I never did think that was a really great idea, but hey, here we are. There's a holiday something on the 3rd Monday of February. So I propose that we meet on March 1st.
Is there any
We-
chance
Hmm?
is there any chance of finding another? Because of these 3 action items, I don't really know what we can do. It's budget season. I don't want to go too far without taking a look at that budget. We have other items on here that need to be addressed. Can we find another date?
Well, if I may point out that in the minutes, we read them, we did talk about, and I tried to push this with you, Bob, about the fact that it's good to have 2 months. And the previous discussions, we talked about March 4th for the date, because that was the earliest when you could arrive or come up with, or after this month's meeting
I
from
know,
the last time.
Oh,
So you came up with March 4th, which is the Monday,
right.
as your answer. Now you're
Well,
proposing
I know that,
March
but
1st?
I know, but
Oh.
things
no,
change.
I'm March 1st wouldn't be right.
It's a Friday.
I had my glasses. I think March 4th is what I'm,
Okay, just as written.
whatever. Yes.
Okay.
March
Do we,
4th. Monday, March 4th.
do we have one for the following
No,
meeting?
no, we don't. We could get back in our pattern on the 19th, 2 weeks later also. But
You mean the 18th?
Hmm?
You mean the 18th?
I mean the 18th.
Oh, yeah,
What's
see,
that?
we're all screwed up here.
Only some of us are.
Do you want to have 2 meetings in the month of March, or just want to go on to April? After March 4th?
Why don't we decide on the 4th? We'll see where
Okay.
we stand. Okay, because let's see, in April, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's only tax day.
Yes.
I don't think that's a legal holiday,
No. Should be.
even for the town. The state sometimes says. Okay, so we're on with the 4th. That being said, is there anything else that may legally come before us? If not,
I'll make a motion to
we
adjourn.
someone,
I'll
Bob
second it.
moved to adjourn and
I'll second it.
Carl seconded. That's not debatable. Bob Berger,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Corson,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries unanimously.